what I want to request. And friends, let me tell you finally, the very purpose for which they have agreed is yes. Today, not only we are going to speak now, we are going to regularly interact with them. बारियम आखिरी में मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, ये लोग वर्ल्ड बैंक से, गवर्नमेंट से, नाबार्ड से, दूसरी ये संस्था से आए, ये लोग सिर्फ आज बैठ के हमें सलाह दे के चले जाने का नहीं है. Our dear friend, country coordinator and lead agricultural economist, Dr. Rao from NABARD, Dr. Reddy from MCX, and Sri Prabhakaran here, and friends. At the outset, I thank Sri Chandralekha Garu for inviting me for this farmers conference, wherein I can get some kind of first-hand knowledge of your deliberations as well as feedback. On basically what you propose to do. Agriculture, we all know, is in some kind of a crisis. Both Government of India as well as state government, they frequently voice concern about agricultural growth. And of late, internationally, everyone is talking about climate change, increasing food prices, and looming food crisis. Keeping that in mind, Andhra government, after Dr. Rajshekar Reddy has taken over as the Chief Minister, had initiated certain measures, has taken certain steps which are far-reaching, and I am sure will strengthen agricultural sector in the long run. The 90s we call is a decade of holiday for irrigation. And after the present government took over the reins, irrigation is given top priority, and today the state government is investing more than 50,000 crores on building irrigation projects, which I am sure will help strengthen agriculture sector in the long term, because of all, any farmer wants water as the first input. Not only water reduces the risk, increases productivity, and indirectly reduces the cost of cultivation and for the unit of produce. The present government also proactively has taken a decision to give power subsidy to small and marginal farmers, and today it is being implemented without a serious financial crisis. The credit disbursement has tripled, has doubled in the last 3.5 years, and the present government also is giving credit subsidy, and probably from April onwards, the farmers are going to get 3% interest rate as well in the entire state. That decision had already been announced by the Chief Minister. As a package in 16 districts, the state government also waived earlier accrued interest. Almost we have waived an interest of 2,000 crores. In addition, another major decision is the state government for the first time is spending nearly 1,000 crores as subsidy for promotion of drip and sprinkler. In the last 3 years, it has spent more than 400 crores. And this year as well as in the coming 1.5 years, it wants to spend the balance money. So, as far as allocation to agriculture infrastructure like irrigation is concerned, probably the present government has done much more than what any other previous governments have done. This is what I wanted to highlight, only to make it a point that this is a pro-farmer government and it's always responsive to the farmers' demands and farmers' interests. The other issues as to, the general issues plaguing agriculture, I need not tell you, most of the speakers must have mentioned already. However, certain demands which probably that we are today making on the government of India makes sense. And just now what he pointed out is export-import policies. I do not know why, for the sake of building buffer stocks, we take or we initiate export-import policies, because the other day also when we were interacting with the government of India, they say the ban on rice exports is mainly because we want to build buffer stocks. I refuse to understand the logic, because if you want to build buffer stocks, okay, you spend maybe another 3,000 crores, another 5,000 crores more, procure at the market rates and build buffer stocks, rather than suppressing prices and then trying to build buffer stocks. And the statement is after buffer stocks are built, then we will remove the restrictions on exports and all. Across, we always say 50% of the people in this country are still dependent on agriculture. So not only we produce, we also consume. But if 50% of us also are consumers, then I think they should think twice before taking such a decisions, wherein the prices and the growth of agriculture is squeezed. I think after 1970, internationally, the agriculture prices were under squeeze deliberately because of the various policies developed by governments across the globe, not only in India. Only I think last year onwards, again the terms of trade started turning towards agriculture. At this stage, again putting restrictions, embargoes on free trade will obviously affect indirectly the agriculture, and again it continues to play because agriculture, all of us know, is the most controlled, most regulated sector in the economy. Right from the land policies, property rights, if you take, tenancy rights, then from then onwards, the every policy, the input prices, the water policies, the power policies, the marketing policies, and even the regulated markets and all which were introduced in the name of helping agriculture, in the name of protecting the interests of the farmers, have turned out to be a problem, whereas no such regulated markets exist for any other product in the country, any industrial product. I don't think there is a regulated market. So everywhere we try to control, we try to regulate, indirectly squeezing the profits and prices. especially in a country where the land is a major scarcity, the water is a significant scarcity. Survival becomes difficult because today, when we work it out, we find a minimum of 40,000 rupees is required for subsistence level. That is, subsistence level of living is basically food and clothing, nothing more. If we take an interior district, probably a semi-urbanized district may need a little more. So if you work back, for getting 40,000 rupees, how much of land we need? Probably, if it is a dry land, we will come up saying that we need 6 hectares, 5 hectares, 4 hectares. And if it's a wetland, a minimum something like 2 to 3 hectares at least we want. Whereas the operational holding, average operational holding in a country is almost less than a hectare. In Andhra it is 1.2 hectares also. And fast, China's operational holding is growing, and probably it will increase. It will take over India very soon, because there now land policies are being liberalized. People are allowed to take long-term leases without any restriction and things like that. So there is an indication that the land size, operational holding size is going up. And there is no land, what I can say, land use policy anywhere in the country. What land is to be used for agriculture, what land is used to be industries, etc., for residential purposes, have not been evolved properly, and there is no body which regulates like in many other countries, which would again seriously impact agriculture more than anything else, because the planning in agriculture has to be done based on resource use. Most of us are not educated enough, are not taught enough about the need for resources for producing 1,000 calories or producing a kilo of rice or a wheat or a beef or whatever it is. The result is the resources are misused. If you really scientifically work out, I was mentioning the other day to someone, to produce a liter of milk, we need 3,500 liters of water. To produce a kilo of beef, we need 100,000 liters of water, like 1 lakh liters of water. And to produce a kilo of rice, you only need 1,900 liters of water. And we don't know the basics, and we always say that probably a paddy or a sugarcane is consuming more water. But the fact is that any animal-based activity consumes much more water, needs much more land than grains. That's why historically our great grandfathers promoted vegetarianism. Because being a tropical country where land has a limitation, water has a limitation, but there is no limitation for light or temperature. They preferred mostly a plant mode, contrary to the temperate countries where there is no temperature limitation. There is a significant temperature and light limitation, but there is no limitation of land and water. So they preferred animal mode. We need to basically know what resources we have, what policies we need to take for better utilization of resources in order to get quality returns or returns ideal for the country.